How's it going, guys? So I got a different type of video for you today. So I'm going to discuss, well, certain bands, like they have a couple albums that are considered like their landmark album, and unfortunately some of these bands have an album that's like also fantastic but seem to be kind of overshadowed by the more popular ones. So I have 15 different albums I'm going to be talking about that are classics in their own right, but I feel like get kind of overtaken by the more popular records. But yeah. But first, what we're listening to, everyone and their mother already posted this, but I got my copy of the new Achilles finally. The House of Black Geminis. So, I don't like it as much as The Dreaming Eye. That's like one of the best Black Metal records of the last decade, but I probably like it better than like the previous record, but not as much as The Dreaming Eye. So yeah, it's a good kind of scary, evil Black Metal from the US, but yeah, definitely will be on my year-end list. So yeah, good stuff. Alrighty, so first up, let's go to the US. Maybe an odd choice, but I feel like this record gets no love compared to this band's first two albums for whatever reason. Autopsy, actually Unspeakable, 1992, I believe is when this came out, 1992. This version also has the Fiend for Blood EP and some live bonus tracks, so obviously they were definitely more well known for Severed Survival and Mental Funeral, but for some reason this one gets kind of ignored. I'm not really sure why. I mean, I definitely say the first two are better, but this one is definitely a classic and one of my favorites. I wouldn't say it's like my favorite after the first two. Honestly, my third favorite is probably Tourniquets, Hacksaws, and Graves, then this one, but yeah. This, honestly, I like Shit Fun too. It's another underrated one, but I wouldn't say that's technically classic, but this and Shit Fun are definitely the most perverted and gross one. I mean, the lyrics in this one are super fucked up and nasty. I mean, even look at the cover art. Let me show you that better, but bunch of crazy shit going on there. So yeah, man, if you want Autopsy at their most perverted and gross sound, definitely check out this one. This is even arguably slower than Mental Funerals, so if you want Mental Funerals, like, more fucked up, twisted, younger brother, I guess, check this one out, but yep. Awesome record that deserves more love. So, Autopsy, Acts of the Unspeakable. I just do an LP. So when I was thinking about this topic, this was one of the very first ones I thought of. At the Gates with Fear I Kiss the Burning Darkness. No one ever mentioned this album, and I'm not sure why. It's always like Slaughter of the Soul, Slaughter of the Soul, Slaughter of the Soul. Either that or with Fear I Kiss the... Not with Fear. The debut. The Red in the Sky is Ours, that's it. It's always The Red in the Sky is Ours or Slaughter of the Soul. This one never gets any attention. I'm not sure why. Honestly, this is my favorite At the Gates record, which is definitely going to be not a popular opinion, but oh well. And unfortunately, their last was Al Svensson, who had a very unique riffing style, which obviously, if they still had him on Slaughter, that would have been a completely different album, because his riffing was super, like, weird and, like, other dimensional, kind of, but unfortunately, he left, which sucks, but oh well. I mean, listen, what's his favorites on here? Beyond Good and Evil, Wraith by the Light of Christ, Through the Red, Blood of the Sunsets, The Burning Darkness, bunch of bangers, man, but yeah. People are too busy worshipping Slaughter of the Soul, which I get, that's definitely a big record for a lot of people, like a generation or two older than me, but yeah. So this one, super underrated, honestly one of the, like, I think most overlooked just albums from early 90s Swedish death metal in general, but yeah. So there you go. Again, not a popular opinion to have this be your favorite At the Gates, but it's mine, so whatever. There you go. At the Gates with Fear I Kiss the Burning Darkness. If you want to check them out, start here, not Slaughter, but that's just my contrarian opinion, I guess. Let's go to Sweden again, with a different style completely. Candlemass, Tales of Creation. So for Candlemass, it's obviously Epicus, Doomicus, Metallicus, Night Follow, Ancient Dreams. People seem to mention this one, but it's definitely in the shadows of those first three, which I can see why, but Ancient Dreams is my favorite, but honestly, I like this better than Nightfall and the debut, which is definitely going to be a Not popular opinion, but oh well. I mean, Dark Reflections is one of my favorite songs by them. Tears, Under the Oak, The Edge of Heaven, Dawn. Yeah. Killer record. A lot of doom metal bands, this would be their best album, but unfortunately for Candlemass, they also put out Nightfall and Ancient Dreams, so, but oh well. Killer record that I think deserves more love, but definitely one of the best though. Yep, check it out. Candlemass, Tales of Creation. Like I said, Ancient Dreams and Ancient Dreams I like better, but this one's still great though in its own right. So there you go. Tales of Creation came out in 1989 also. So yep, there you go. Great record. Let's go to Germany. This band is obviously a lot more well known for their sounds that came after this album, but this is what, honestly, I prefer this sound to the later stuff. This is a Blind Guardian with Battalions of Fear. Obviously, they are well known for being a power metal band, but this speed metal era gets some love, but when it does, it's always like, not imaginations. Tales from the Twilight World or Somewhere Far Beyond that gets the most love of the like more speed metal era. This one, honestly, I probably prefer this one over Somewhere Far Beyond and Follow the Blind. The Tales from the Twilight World is probably my favorite though, but honestly, this is like number 2 for me. Awesome record though. Basically, like their third album onward, they had like more power metal. This is basically a straight up thrash record as far as I'm concerned. I mean, Majesty, Guardian of the Blind, Wizard's Crown, The Martyr, the title track, Run for the Night. Awesome, yeah. It came out in 1988, so their debut record, obviously. But yep. Great record, super underrated, and definitely one of my favorites. But like I said, I prefer their first 4 albums to anything that they did after that. But that's just me, because when it comes to power metal bands, I like it when they still have some speed metal left in their sound, but yeah. So there you go. Amazing record that deserves more attention, but yep. So there you go. Blind Guardians, Battalions of Fear. I feel like if they stopped making albums after their third, this would be like genuinely regarded as like one of their best, but considering what they became, they're obviously a lot more popular with their like more power metal influence. I get why this one doesn't get enough attention, but I think it deserves more, but that's just me. So there you go. I mean, just listening to the song Guardian of the Blind, it's definitely one of my favorite songs by them in general. So yep, there you go. Blind Guardian, Battalions of Fear. Guardian of the Blind. Great shit. This is definitely by far the newest and the only album. No way. Let me see. Now, this is only one of 2 albums from the 2000s I'm going to mention. Everything else is from the 80s or nope, I lied. So I have 3 from the 2000s, and this is the first one I'm going to mention. Maybe an odd choice, but oh well. Decapitated and Negation. Let me pull this shit out. So there you go. 2004. So obviously this followed Nihility, which is definitely by most their like landmark album. I agree, the Winds of Creation is right there. And I feel like the people that like the more groovy stuff tend to mention like Organic Hallucinosis. This is almost like the kind of like the ignored middle child between Nihility and Organic, which I'm not really sure why. I mean, Lying and Weak, track 3, it's definitely one of my favorite songs by them. The title track, The Fury, The Empty Throne, 3-Dimensional Defect. Maybe because if the first 3 is their shortest also, so maybe that's why it didn't get enough attention. Not sure why that matters though, but yeah, so. This is their last, like, I would say, like, purely tech death record, because Organic Hallucinosis, though, it's great. You can kind of hear where they were going later on in that album, because there's definitely some more, like, groovier moments, which this doesn't really have any of that, but that intro riff to Line of the Week is definitely, like, super thrashy and almost, like, kind of Slayer-ish, but yeah. Awesome record, like I said. The first 2 I like better, but this is definitely a killer record, though, but yeah. Awesome stuff, regardless, though, so yep. Decapitated, The Negation, awesome record, 2004 on E-Rake, so yep, there you go. And that Blind Guardian was 1988, I forgot to mention that. Let's do another vinyl. Hypocrisy, the final chapter. So if you did not know, by the name, this was actually supposed to be their final album, but apparently they played Wacken, and Peter was like so impressed with how great the crowd was, like how much, like he appreciated how great the crowd was, like how enthusiastic they were for Hypocrisy. It made him realize that he just shouldn't quit, and made him realize he wanted to keep going and put out new records. But yeah, this is my favorite. No, honestly, it used to be my favorite at one point for a while. It was, it's gone down. Still like my top 3 or 4 though. But yeah, some people mention them. It's usually always like the first 2 or Abducted. But yeah, even like the Fourth Dimension gets more love than this one does. But I'm not really sure why. Maybe because that cover art's kind of terrible. It's just the 3 guys, and that's it. Almost like extreme aggression by creator. But yeah, this and Abducted are definitely, I would say, almost like. They have some like slower, kind of creepier, atmospheric moments that weren't on the first 3, but oh well. I'm not sure why this one gets no love and Abducted seems to get more attention, but oh well. Favorites on this one: A Coming Ray, Through the Window of Time, Request Denied, A Coming Race, I said that already, Domination, yeah. Killer Record, again, not sure why it gets ignored, but maybe because the cover art kind of sucks and the album title's kind of stupid, but yeah. Killer Records came out in 1999, I believe. I think Abducted was 96, but yeah. So there you go. Hypocrisy, final chapter. Is it my favorite? No, but still definitely in like the top 3 or 4, but awesome stuff. Alright, this might be kind of a weird one, but this album I don't think gets enough attention. So let me show you that. I'm not talking about that. So obviously that's the Deicide, Serpent of the Light is what I'm talking about, because everyone always seems to praise the first 3, or at least the first 2, which I definitely get. I mean, Once Upon the Cross is my favorite, but I don't know, man. The tracks on Serpents are great though. You got Serpents of the Light, Bastards of Christ, yeah! That's definitely my favorite. Blaming on God, I Am No One, Slave to the Cross, Creatures of Habit, The Truth Above, I Am No One. These 2, Serpents and Once Upon the Cross, are definitely, I would say, the catchiest of the first 4, but yeah, man. Some people say, like, Once Upon the Cross is where they kind of fall off. Nah, man. I think Serpents is definitely should be considered part of the, like, first 4 classics, right? Which I don't think it seems to be that often, but maybe I'm wrong, but people seem to either say it's all about the first 2 or the first 3, but I still say it's about the first 4, but yep. So there you go. Deicide, Serpent of the Night. Great record, but like I said, Once Upon the Cross is still my favorite though, but yep. Good record. Alright, so let's go to Sweden again. This band's 3rd record, obviously. So this is Necrophobic with the 3rd Antichrist, so obviously their 3rd record, but unlike Hypocrisy, they actually meant that, because when they said the 4th dimension or whatever, but yeah. So this came out in 2000, I believe, because 2000, 2001, something like that, because I know Deicide was 1997, but I would say this one and Blood Hymns are definitely their least, like, black metal sounding ones, which Blood Hymns, I would argue, has, like, no black metal influence at all, but they were always great at mixing black and death metal. But like I said, this and Blood Hymns are definitely the most just straightforward kind of evil death metal, which you could argue is black metal anyway, but yeah. Not very good cover art, you can't really see them. It's almost like that 3rd Eternus record with just the guys in fire, so I don't know who influenced who, I don't remember which one came out first. Those were both around the same time, but yeah. Favorites on this one: Rise of the Infernal, The Throne of Souls Possessed, He Whom Reddeth in Rage, One Last Step of the Great Mist, Demonic, Frozen Empire. Again, is it my favorite? No, that's probably... Favorite by them? That's tough. Probably Deicide, but... I don't know, like I said, all this stuff rules, but yeah. Killer Record's super underrated. No one ever mentions this album. I'm not really sure why, but maybe because that cover art's kind of bad, and oh well. If they had a cool painting like Deicide, maybe you'd get more love, but oh well. So there you go. And also, maybe they want a different label back then. I'm not really sure what label they were signed to at the time, but this is a Hammerhead Records reissue, so that's cool. So yeah, man. Underrated record, killer stuff, definitely should be talked about with the first two, though I still think the first two are better though, so there you go. Necrophobic, the third Antichrist. You go into, I want to say California, but that just seems wrong. I know they're from the US, but Hallows, Death and Insanity. So everyone always says Tales of Terror, Tales of Terror, Tales of Terror. Honestly, I like this record better than Tales of Terror, which is probably a hot take, but I don't know, man. I feel like the songwriting's better on this one, better vocals, better riffs. I mean, listen to the song D.I.E., Death and In Fact. That's definitely the best song in my opinion. Death in Fact. Killer stuff, but yeah. So their first record is more kind of like straight up speed metal. This one had a lot of that too, but also they worked in some like slower, more kind of mid-paced moments too, to give it some like more variety, which is cool, but yeah. Put out through Metal Blade originally. This is a Metal Blade reissue, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, but there you go. So again, if you like stuff like Liege Lord or like Hellstar, kind of in that vein, so like US power metal, I guess, but mixed with speed metal. But yep, check it out. Hallows Eve. Don't ignore this because everyone says check out the debut, but for my money, it's all about Death and Insanity. But there you go. Check it out. Alright, so this might be kind of an odd one, but oh well. Incantation, the Infernal Storm. Arguably my favorite Incantation record, definitely an odd choice. Either between this or Diabolical Conquest, believe it or not, which mainly because of Daniel Cotrell's vocals on that one. It's definitely one of, like, I think he was honestly my favorite vocals that they've had. Yes, even over Craig Pillard, but I don't know. I think this record, my only gripe with this record is it's kind of thinly produced. I wish it had like a better, like, fatter sound, but at the same time it also gives it a very unique sound. Definitely the most different, like, sounding production wise of the first four, but yeah. This and Blasphemy are super underrated, which I almost mentioned that one too, but that's kind of like a more like even weirder pick, so I didn't feel comfortable picking that. But yeah, man. I mean, listen to the opening song, Anoint the Chosen. That's Anoint the Chosen. That's definitely one of my favorites by them. So was Lustful Demise and Heaven Departed. That's another couple highlights, but yep. So Incantation, The Infernal Storm. One of two albums with Mike Sayers on vocals, I believe. Vocals and guitar. Then after Blasphemy, John's been the vocalist ever since. But yep, there you go. Incantation, The Infernal Storm. Awesome record. That's a couple of vinyls. So this record seems to get some shit. I'm not really sure why. So I gotta completely disagree with everyone who says this album is kind of a letdown. Overkill, Under the Influence. So everyone seems to say this is like their Anthrax record, but honestly I think Anthrax kind of blows and this destroys anything by Anthrax, which is another hot take, but oh well. So, and honestly, this is probably Blasphemy, but I like this better than the Years of Decay and the first record, which I know that's going to be another crazy take, but I don't know. I mean, is it as good as Taking Over and Horoscope? No, but I still think it's better than the first record and Years of Decay. What the fuck's the first record called? It's not important, but yeah. Favorites on this one: Shred, Hello from the Gutter, Brain Fade, and Drunken Wisdom, but yeah. Killer record again, super underrated. I don't think deserves all the, like, making fun of this record gets for some odd reason, but yeah. So this came out in 1987. I believe I mentioned this in my, like, 1987 thrash metal video, so go watch that when you hear me talk about it in more detail, but yeah. Again, super underrated. Fuck the haters, this album shreds. See what I did there, because, never mind, but yeah. There you go. Overkill, Under the Influence. Super underrated. So there you go, there's another favorite. Alrighty, let's go to Brazil. Honestly, this was the first album I thought of when I was thinking about this video. So this is Sarcofago with the Laws of Scourge. So everyone only ever mentions INRI, which, is that their best? Yeah, but this is definitely, I would say, a lot different, because if you know Sarcofago, they pretty much changed style on their first, like, 4 albums. Like, INRI was obviously, like, Evil Black and Thrash. The Rotting EP was just straight up, like, Evil Thrash, or just, like, normal Thrash. This is, like, kind of technical-ish death metal, and then the Works is almost like industrial kind of like groove metal sort of, but yeah. So they definitely, you could argue they have like an identity crisis, but it's pretty cool that they always like to change it up and not make the same record over and over again. And this came out in 1991 if I did not mention that, but yeah. I know INRI is my favorite, but honestly the last song on this album, Crush, Kill, Destroy, that's my favorite song by Sarcofago, period. Crush, kill the enemy, destroy. Killer stuff. Cool album cover too, but yep. There you go. Sarcofago, The Laws of Scourge, super underrated again. Another album no one ever shows, but oh well. Killer record if you like kind of like slightly technical-ish death metal, but technical from like 91 standards. Not like super like modern tech death, obviously, but oh well. Check it out. Sarcofago, The Laws of Scourge. Just listen to Crush, Kill, Destroy, and you'll know that the record rules. Alright, let's go to Holland. Sinister, Hate. Another super underrated record. This is definitely regarded as a classic. There's no doubt about that. So this might be like a mulligan to pull this one. Everyone's gonna say, this is a classic record. What are you talking about? Yeah, I know it is classic, but compared to the first two, how much love does this album get compared to Diabolical, Something, and Cross the Sticks? I mean, really, come on. Is it as good as those two? No, I still prefer those ones, but man, this record is a classic on its own, though. So, again, this is another example. If it was done by a different band, it would be their best album, but like, what band I mentioned that for? Kind of like, oh yeah, kind of like Blind Guardian. If this was like their only album, it would definitely be like regarded as like a all-time like best one and done album. But yeah, another glare sucks. I'm sorry, but yeah, cool painting too. I will say that is my favorite cover out of the first 3 though. I love that like gargoyle demon dude. It's sweet. This Cosmic Key Creations reissue. If I didn't mention that already, but yep. Awesome Records came out in 1993, if I did not mention that, so. 93 and 94, because I know the debut, no, it says 95, never mind, I'm completely off, so yeah. Nuclear Blast 1995, okay, I was going to say, so I know Diabolical was 93, I doubt they would do another album the next year, but oh well. So there you go, Sinister, Hate. Underrated, but like I said, I still think the first 2 are better, but a classic in its own right that I still think deserves more love, but should be mentioned with those first 2. Alright, speaking of underrated that gets no love, which is kind of the point of this video, obviously. This Tankard with The Meaning of Life. Honestly, for the first few years I knew Tankard, I avoided this album mainly because I thought the album cover was kind of dumb. I'm like, oh god, what's this gonna be? But man, this record rips, which, honestly, I'll take this over Zombie Attack and maybe over Chemical Invasion too, which probably not good opinion, but at the moment, The Morning After is still my favorite though, but I mean, this has some of the best songs like Open All Night, We Are Us, Bermuda, the title track, Space Beer. If you have to listen to one of those, listen to the song We Are Us. That song's a total fucking riff fest. We are us, who do you trust? Yep. So don't be an idiot like me and ignore this album just because of the dumb artwork. Definitely, this should be mentioned with the first 3, but sadly it isn't. But yep. Tankard, The Meaning of Life. Awesome record. This came out in 1990, if I did not mention that. But this is a BMG Noise 2018 reissue. So yep, there you go. Tankard, The Meaning of Life. The last one, then we are done. So let's end with a big boy. Suffocation, Breeding the Spawn. So I know everyone always says the music is great, but the production kind of sounds like crap. Yeah, it doesn't sound the best, but I think some people kind of overstate how bad it actually sounds. People act like it's unlistenable or something, which I kind of disagree, but if you have a good stereo, you could fix it and make it sound pretty good, but granted, it doesn't sound as good as, like, Effigy or Pierce, which I know this wasn't produced at more sound, so maybe that's why it got kind of, like, crappy sounding, because that some producer didn't know what he was doing, but yeah. If you can get past how it sounds, the songs are awesome. I mean, like, the title track, Prelude to Repulsion, Epitaph of the Credulous, Ignorant Deprivation. I know they've, like, on every album, they've basically re-recorded one of these songs, which seems kind of like a waste of time, because, like I said, I don't think it needs it, but I can definitely see why some folks say this record kind of sounds bad, but I don't know, man. If you can get past that, the songs are killer, though. So, yep. There you go. Suffocation, Breeding the Spawn. Again, the first two are better, but this one, the first and third are better, but this one's still great, though. But, yep. Kind of like, honestly, this is kind of like Bomber by Overkill syndrome, where it's like sandwiched in between their most two beloved records. So, because that record's obviously in between Overkill and Ace of Spades, but yep. Kill Record, Motorhead, wow. Suffocation, Breeding the Spawn. So there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this. Couple of probably odd picks, but oh well. Not sure what I'll do next, but I've said it every video, but thanks for watching, take care, have a good rest of your day. Hails.